What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets, Action Network's daily NBA betting podcast. We're in the workshop Thursday, NBA slate. The boys are back. J Money is money. You know the man. Go follow him on all socials across the board. You know where to find him. I am your host, Sean Little. We are recording this live from our home, Tommy John Studios. You know how we do. We get the play, we get the cap, we get you guys out of here. J Money is money. Give me your best bet for the Thursday NBA slate.
With the New York Knicks plus 3.5.
The Bockers. You know, I always enjoy talking the New York Knicks. I was at the Garden for the Steph Curry show. We'll talk about that here in a second. Break down Knicks going on a little West Coast trip to take on the Lakers. We'll hear Jay's cap in a second. I am going with the Warriors Nets under 224.5 minus 110 at DraftKings as we record this at 11:28 on Wednesday evening. All right, let's jump right into it. J Money is money. New York Knicks have been on a little bit of a tough stretch. Let's keep it a bean. The wins have been all crunch time wins with Jalen Brunson for the most part coming to save the day. Bulls overtime. Memphis crunch time. I mean, it's just nonstop right now for the Knicks. Are either playing close games and getting W's, or they're having a little bit of a hard time. I was at the Garden on Tuesday. Steph Curry, by the way, spend the money to go see Steph in person. You're not going to have very many opportunities left. I've never seen Madison Square Garden. I've been working for the network for my 4th year. I'm at the Garden every night the Knicks are there. I've never seen so many people pregame to see a team and a player, specifically Steph Curry. There was 1 million people there pregame. It was a Tuesday night. I was at the LeBron game at the Garden Friday night. Half the people there. Saturday, at home, Madison Square Garden, Boston Celtics, 1/3 of the people there. 1 of 1, Steph Curry. Go check him out. Go spend the money. It'll be worth the dollars. Go do it. Go see your favorite players. But Jay, talk to me about why you're backing the Knicks here. Red hot, white hot. Los Angeles Lakers, 19-4 since the second week of January. JJ Redick, everything is all palm trees and sunny days right now in La La Land. Why are you going against them?
Yeah, this is one of the most offensively balanced teams they've faced, though, in my opinion, here in recent memory, in my opinion. Man, I'm still one of the believers that one of the Knicks are one of the top-tier teams in the East over there, and they'll put it together, especially in these types of games as well. Now, I know what everybody's thinking out there, the Lakers red hot, and if you've been betting the Lakers every game, I can't talk you off. Just keep taking them. I mean, because obviously you still have money in your pocket. Like, they're making you money. If you want to just keep betting the Lakers until the wheels fall off, don't let me talk you off. But me personally, I'm fading pretty much the whole world in this one. I'm going to take the Knicks plus 3.5. I'm going to sprinkle on the money line as well. I think the Knicks get a huge confidence boosting win here. We've seen them go on the road and make statement games as well. They get Karl-Anthony Towns back. Their offense is totally different with Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson pick and roll, man. Damn near unstoppable, in my opinion. When you have that starting five of Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson, I think it's one of the best starting fives in the league, in my opinion, man. So I know Cat's been out for a little while, but I think they really need him. I think he's supposed to be back in this one, supposed to be available. You never know in today's NBA, things could change, and he could possibly be out in this one. Or they try to say that he's out for recondition or some stuff like that, Sean. So I need Cat to be in there. Like I'm gonna wait to bet this one until I know for sure that he's in there, and it's gonna be worth it. Like even if it moves down to 1.5 or something, I'd rather know that Cat's in there because I really think they have a chance to win. If he doesn't play, I'll tell you, I would not like this play probably at all. Not nowhere near as much, but probably not at all. But I just feel like this could be a spot where the Lakers could get tripped up. The Knicks have revenge as well. LeBron and guys went into Madison Square Garden, smacked them up as 11-point underdogs, beat them 128-112, and that was pre-Luka as well, man. So Knicks got a little bit of revenge here. I think they give them some payback and beat the Lakers outright in their arena. The Lakers do have a lot working for them. This is their 6th straight home game. The offense is playing really well. They've won 7 straight games, covered 6 out of the last 7. They're red hot, but every single team they've been going up against has something going on with them other than that Nuggets game. That was a really good win. But the win versus the Mavericks, obviously not impressed. They only won that one by 8, didn't cover the spread. Beat the Wolves when they were down with Gobert. I believe some other stuff happened in that one as well. And then they beat the Clippers back-to-back games as well and barely did that. That was probably one of the toughest defenses that they've faced here in this 7-game win streak, in my opinion. And you see they barely eke those out. 4-point win, 6-point win as well. And then they beat up on the Pelicans. So in my opinion, this Knicks team is going to bring something totally different than what they've been seeing. All 5 starters can score the basketball. All 5 starters can play defense as well. Maybe a little bit of exception to Brunson and Carlton Towns, but still, what they give offensively makes up on the defensive end, in my opinion. So, expecting him to play with a little thumb injury. Josh Hart crashing the boards. Mikal Bridges. They have guys to throw at Luka, to throw at LeBron. They have the bench to keep this one close as well. So, I said all that to say I like the Knicks here going against the whole world. Longest cat plays. Give me Knicks plus 3.5, and I'll also have money on the money line.
Coming into the game, Steph Curry questionable, dealing with the ankle. He tweaked it. Actually, we were recording the pod on Monday. Jay said, I said, what do you think about Warriors Knicks? He said, I'm not touching it. I just watched Steph Curry tweak his ankle. I got to see what the injury report says. Steph Curry's questionable the whole day. Cat pops up as questionable with personal reasons. Knicks were -4.5. Cat gets scratched. Steph gets the green light. It goes all the way to Warriors -1. So it moved a full 5 points off those 2 announcements. So it is imperative for the Knicks offensively with Cat in the fold, because if we're being honest, when Cat's not on the floor, we're starting to take for granted how many difficult shots Jalen Brunson knocks down, and his footwork is so special, and his pace and whatever he does to get to his spots. But when you don't have to worry about Cat, and the second offensive scoring option is essentially Mikal Bridges, sometimes it's even OG, you can throw a lot of different things at Jalen Brunson that could get the rock out of his hands or make things extremely uncomfortable for him. And that's what the Warriors did in the second half. But to go back to what you said, Jay Money, about the Lakers' last 15 games. I'm going to read them off to everyone listening. January 30th, they played Washington, the Knicks, big win. LeBron had a triple-double. He went crazy in that game. Clippers, Golden State, Indiana, Utah, Charlotte, Portland, Denver, Dallas, Minnesota, Clippers, New Orleans. There's not a lot of big-time offenses in those last 15 games when the Los Angeles Lakers have been top number 1 in the NBA in defense. So I think that is a good look. You mentioned it. Nuggets was a good dub against a good offensive team. But that was that first game. Luka got into the fold and got going. Mm-hmm. The Knicks, that was before Luka showed up. Different squad. LeBron goes for a triple-double. So we then add Luka into the fold. They haven't played a lot of teams that are the upper echelon offenses in the league like the New York Knicks are. I think the New York Knicks can score some points here for this matchup. I lean over. In the game, as we sit here, it sits 228.5 on FanDuel was where I'm looking at it. I lean over 228.5 in that game. I almost made that my official, but that is my lean. I have to see, as you mentioned, if Cat goes. But for as much love as the Lakers have been getting on defense, they haven't seen a squad with this type of capability on that side if Karl Anthony Towns and that full starting 5 can go. So I think that's a good look. New York Knicks, it's been up and down, man. So hopefully it's one of those nights where the Knicks show up early and can get
up night.
Hopefully it's an up night for Jay Money and we can cash one. We mentioned at the top of the show that we're coming to you from our Tommy John home studios, and that's because great games start with great underwear, and Tommy John makes the greatest. I tell y'all every pod, man. I'm wearing Tommy John draws now, and that's real. The black joints, white lettering. Go pick up some. Super comfortable, super flexible, and that goes for the t-shirts, the pajamas, everything they got going. Everything I've come across has been top quality. Remember, when you're truly comfortable, you do everything better, and that includes betting. So if you love the Buckets podcast, if you love this crew, Sean Little, J Money, you'll love Tommy John. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/buckets. That's 25% off at TommyJohn.com/buckets. All right. Let's get into a little totals, Cat. We hit the last total. I gave out just too low, flat out. Bucks, Hawks, go over. We cashed there. Let's go right back to a total. Warriors, Nets, under 224.5, minus 110 at DraftKings as we record this Wednesday night, right around 11:30 p.m. In my opinion, J Money, this is a sluggish spot for both teams. Nets coming off a little 2-game road trip. They went to Detroit, then went to San Antonio. They got home at about 4:30 in the morning for the Nets, from my understanding. Talked to a couple people. They got home late. It's typical NBA schedule, but they get the quote unquote day off, get a little rest, potentially do a little shoot around, and then get ready to go in a home game against the Golden State Warriors. And you know how we do, Jay. We half joke. You know, you get home at 4:30, you gotta get up, you gotta walk the dog, you gotta go grab the dry cleaning, you gotta go talk to the partners who you gotta talk to. Next thing you know, it's time to play Steph Curry and the boys. But in all seriousness, the Nets have been really bad offensively, and I think this is a sluggish spot for them to continue to play bad offense. And then when we talk about the Warriors, they've been hanging out in New York City. Draymond Green had a birthday party. They've been on the road for quite a long time. And you know the mentality. Man, we're going to go over to Barclays and bust their head, just like we bust the Knicks in the second half. And then we'll go ahead, get back west to San Francisco in the Chase Center and keep everything rolling. But third game in 4 nights, back-to-back, Hornets, Knicks. Now they got a game against Brooklyn. Typically, Jay, in 3 and 4 nights, we talk about it. I would worry about tired legs for Golden State giving up easy buckets, and that may take it to the over. But when we're talking about the Nets, they're so bad on offense and they play so slow. I'm not worried about them being able to generate easy baskets regardless of the spot and situation. Nets offense at home gets 4.5 points worse when they play in their building. It goes 105.9 to 110.4 on the road. Last 10 games, Nets 29th in offense, 27th in pace. But, J Money, last 10 games, 11th in defense. So the effort is there on that side. If you watch Brooklyn on a night-to-night, one of the best covers in the NBA, the best first quarter team in the NBA, they come out ready. They just don't have a lot of talent. They're trying to figure out how Fernandez is trying to figure out who he wants to put on the floor still and how, he wants to go about his business. But they've been playing tough last 10 games, as I mentioned, 11th in defense. Then when we talk about Golden State, the Pacers, Jimmy Butler showed up about 11 games. I think he's played in 10, 100 possessions per game. That's 20th in the NBA. And then they're second in defense. They haven't played the toughest offenses, though. This is another spot. But 9 of 11 have been on the road. Haven't played the toughest O's, but still, with Jimmy, the addition, the defense is going to get better. And if you guys know and watch ball like we do, you know Jimmy Butler, it leans to a defensive game and a slow-paced game. If you go back and watch that Knicks game, they had a bunch of possessions where they just essentially were running the 3-man game with him, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green in the half court. And it was like, what is the best shot we could get? Oh, you want it? Oh, you want me to get to the line? Okay. Draymond, you want to distribute? Okay. They were getting guys open looks. It's just a beautiful style of basketball they're playing right now. But it leans to defensive and it leads to slow. Let's talk about a couple trends. Nets at home as underdogs, which they're typically underdogs, but as underdogs. 14-8 to the under. That's 64%. Last 20 games, Jay, the Nets are 15-5 to the under. They flat out offensively just don't do anything. They play slow, and then now they're going to bump into a team in Golden State that plays better defense, but is also playing slower and is in a sluggish spot. I just think points are going to be at a premium here. I have to take the under 224.5, get the best number you can. I know you're not a totals guy, but what do you think about the game flow here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned it earlier that the Nets are they're one of the best teams at like coming out first quarter, first half, and then totally let go in the rope in the second half. Man, I believe they were 16 or 17 point home underdogs to the Thunder. They had a 16-point lead at halftime. And then they came all the way back, and I think the Thunder came all the way back and almost actually covered their spread. So they ended up losing the game by 8 points, but the Thunder had gotten out to like a 15-point lead. So they're really good at coming out first quarter, first half. It's that second half, that's when the offense will really fall off a cliff. Like when teams tighten up defensively, that's when they don't know what to do. But when it's a wide open game, they were hitting threes. They run sharp was going crazy in the paint. But yeah, like I said, when the Thunder really ratchet up the defense, the Nets, they literally couldn't score anything, man. They scored 20 points in that third quarter and 25 in the fourth quarter as well of that game that I was talking about versus Thunder. So you never know when they're going to have a sub 20-point quarter, and that could definitely help your under out in this one. So if it was me, I would be leaning towards Nets, possibly first quarter, first half in this one. No look on a total for me here.
Brooklyn Nets in the first quarter are number one in the NBA, 39-20-2 ATS. They have been really, really underappreciated early on. Yeah, I mean, that works with my game flow. That's how I see the game. The number is 10. First of all, the total is 224.5. The number being 10, I thought this number would be like 12.5, 13, if I'm being completely honest. So I think I had it 12.5 when I was going through and kind of putting numbers together. So I see it 10. I just see it being a lower scoring, quote unquote, tighter game than a lot of folks are expecting. And that first quarter, if you can get like 5.5, if you can get like a 6.5 in the first quarter or first half for Brooklyn, 5.5. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that look as well. Try to get like a 3.5 for the first quarter. I expect Brooklyn to do what they've been doing all year long. They get back home. I think it's a sluggish spot for both. But if it's tight, you can cash that, take the points, and you can cash that first quarter slip. Really quick, to go back to Lakers Knicks, I would take a look at fading the big, a couple guys on rebounds for the Lakers. It could be Jackson Hayes. It could be even LeBron. But I think you're going to get a good effort with Cat back. And when we're talking about Cat, now Mitchell Robinson getting minutes. He only played 13 minutes in his in the game the other night, but his per 38 numbers are not, or per 36, aren't bad. 11.7 points, 11.7 rebounds, 3 blocks in the few games that he's been back. There's not going to be a lot of rebounds around for the Los Angeles Lakers. Between Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mitch Robinson, and I mean, Mikal and OG don't really rebound, but
Still
overall, exactly. I don't see very, very many rebounds here. Out any additional reads for the Lakers. So I think depending on the number, there's nothing out yet. I would take a look at finding a spot that you feel comfortable and finding a player that you feel comfortable fading on the glass for the Lakers, because someone's going to be on the outs when it comes to the glass for the home team in the LA Lake Show Lakers. So that's going to do it for Best Bets Buckets Thursday edition. Salute to my dog, J Money is Money. I am your host, Sean Little. Go subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. Go download the app if you haven't already. Like I mentioned a couple days ago, tons of March Madness stuff coming out. Baseball starting to ramp up. I saw some videos coming out from some of the fellas about the NL Central and breaking down division by division. Shout out our guy, Anthony DeBundo, has been from the Ringer, former Action guys, and breaking down some baseball stuff. So tons of stuff coming out of the Action Network house. Still a lot of NBA stuff. Go check us out. For J Money is Money, I am your host, Sean Little. Until next time. which is tomorrow. Let's get buckets, baby. Jay and I'll see y'all next week.